Hey gorgeous, Ari here. Wanted to share with you a bit of a terrifying experience I've put myself through recently that really, really helped me grow in ways I couldn't imagine, and I'm so grateful for the experience. I have never been on a ghost tour or anything like that before, and on Friday night I went on a ghost hunting expedition, which was actually using all the paranormal equipment they use in like the ghost hunting shows, and we were being taught how to actually use it and read it and interpret the information. And so we did this in an old 1800s prison that had some of Australia's worst inmates in it, and it was this beautiful old sandstone prison with stained glass windows. Very, very beautiful old prison, but very terrifying. We went at 9 o'clock at night. It was pitch black. And it was just an experience I will never forget. Firstly, being very empathic, I was a little bit worried about how I would respond to the traumatic events that had happened in the prison. And so that's the main reason I wanted to go, because I've done a lot of work around building a protection layer around myself with my empath abilities, so that I can still use my empath abilities and use them very intuitively to the point where I can switch them on and switch them off. So I really wanted to put that to the test and challenge myself, because previously going to places where terrible things had happened, I would not cope with it very well at all. I would pick up on it. I would be having visions of the experiences. I would just lose myself and just not cope with it very well. And it wasn't good, because I wanted to be able to test myself, and I wanted to be able to push myself outside my boundaries, as I always do. I'm always looking to expand myself. So this is the next opportunity. So initially, the men and the women were all separated, and we got put into separate parts of the prison. They were explaining to us what had happened in those sections of the prison as well. And at first I was, nothing was really happening. I wasn't picking anything up on my little EMF detector thing. A lot of the other women were really quite terrified, and I had to also stop myself from consoling them and looking after them, because naturally I'm a carer, because I was there to do something for myself, and I was there to push myself, and I didn't want to take myself away from the experience by being there for everybody else but myself. So that was the first challenge that I was given. Then we all went inside, and I was mortified. I thought it was going to be a prison, like we see with the prison bars, they have windows and stuff like that. No, these were cells that were thick cement. The doors were heavy wooden and cast iron doors with no windows. Like, you were in a cell and there was no sunlight, there was no windows or anything. And then they wanted to challenge us by putting us in a cell and closing the door and turning all the lights out. And I must say, I was a bit apprehensive about this, because I've never liked dark, small spaces. So anyway, I said yes, and I decided to do it. And so I was in the cell just with one other woman, and we decided to hold hands. Didn't know who she was, but we decided to hold hands. She was quite terrified, but I remained in myself. And I started off by closing my eyes and just breathing and grounding myself. And then we could hear footsteps around us, like cold, wet footsteps. Like, it was like the cell had flooded and someone was walking through water, even though there was no water there. And then I was like, okay. And I put my golden protection bubble around me, and I opened my eyes. And when I opened my eyes, the little reader thing we had, all you could see was the little green light on it. And the reader thing was moving around everywhere. It was like going like this. It wasn't sitting in one spot where it should have been. It was like I had vertigo, and it was going all over the place. And so then I closed my eyes and I grounded myself again. And then I asked for a name, and I got a name. It was like Ariana or something like that. And then I asked her to come forward, and that we were safe and that we were there to meet her. And then she was like, okay. And I opened my eyes, and then standing in front of us was this like white silhouette. There was nowhere that the light could have come from, because it was a pitch black room, and we had a green light on the electromagnetic meter. It was a white silhouette in the shape of a person. And then we just stood there and stared at each other for about a whole minute. And then they were like, all right, lights back on. And we turned the lights back on. And the woman next to me had like broken down into tears. She had a really emotional experience. And I was so proud of myself for not freaking out, for totally remaining in my power. And I was just envisioning my light beaming out, and that I was fully protected and my higher self was there protecting me. And that was a huge, 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 I realized that was a huge leveling for me, because previously, like as a kid, I was terrified of seeing spirits, and I had no one that would support me with it. Like I would tell my mum and she would tell me it was just all in my head and then make me go back and sleep in the room. They weren't scary, they weren't trying to hurt me, but I didn't understand that as a small child, and so that ability had been very blocked off, and I've been doing lots of work on it. So it was really amazing to see how far I've come with that, and how even though this prison held some of the worst inmates in Australia, that I had compassion for them, and I could feel them from a place of love and respect and send them healing, rather than be terrified within myself and close the experience off. So this led the rest of the night to really unfold for me in quite a miraculous way. We were then being taught how to use a spirit box, which is a machine that they can speak through. And my name kept coming through the spirit box, which was a little bit freaky, because just before this, we were getting explained to how to use the spirit box. And it's just amazing how your body has its own consciousness, because my body pulled back and I tucked my lips in. And as I did that, I felt this cold wetness on my lips, like someone had kissed me. And I hadn't consciously registered any of that, but my body had sensed something there and pulled itself back itself. So I found that so amazing that nothing was going on in my head about sensing a spirit in front of me, but then my body picked up on it and my body reacted to that sensory information. And I felt these cold, wet lips on my face, and I just had to laugh. I could have been really upset and felt really violated, but I just had to laugh about it. And then when we sat down to do the spirit box, my name kept coming up. About 10 people called my name out, that they heard my name. And so that was a bit freaky as well. But I just was able to totally take it all lightheartedly and just see it as a bit of fun, and not be terrified or not be scared. And it was a really healing experience for me in that sense. And it really enabled me to open back up to even more clairvoyant abilities, because I realized that there's nothing that they can do to hurt me, and that they're not necessarily there to hurt you. They're there to teach you stuff about yourself. And how much I learned about myself in that experience was enormous. I went in there just thinking it was going to be a bit of fun, and I learned so much about myself, and I was able to move forward from so many things that were going on unconsciously that I wasn't even aware of still. So, we went off and did a whole bunch of other things as well. Went into the shower blocks, went into maximum security where like Ivan Milat was kept, and like all that sort of stuff. But the main part was, I locked myself in a cold, dark cell twice, and I got through it, and I was able to interact with other spiritual beings from a place of love and compassion rather than fear. And that is so important to be able to do that, because especially as a spiritual leader, helping other women open up to their psychic powers, it is continuous growth for me as well. And it's really important that when you come through certain phases of your growth, that you put yourself to the test, and make sure you challenge yourself. Because if you break through to something and then you don't put it into action, and you don't put yourself into action to test it and to strengthen it, then it's just going to dwindle away again. It is so important to make breakthroughs and then put them into instant action and test yourself and push yourself outside your comfort zone. Because if you don't do that, then you're not really growing. Even though you're breaking through to new things and you're realizing new things about yourself, if you're not putting them into action, then you're not growing. And if you're not growing, then you're not getting anywhere. And what's the point in the first place? So I highly recommend that if you are trying to develop your psychic powers more and become a stronger empath and become more intuitive and become more sensitive and more spiritually awakened, to put yourself to the test. go outside your comfort zone, go on a ghost tour, go on ghost hunting, you know, go and do a seance or something like that, and just know that you are safe. Because when you believe you are safe, you are safe. Your beliefs shape your reality. If you do not believe you are safe, then you open yourself up to negative experiences, right? But if you know and 100% know within yourself, and that belief is solidified that you are safe and you have your back, and your higher self has your back, and your spirit team has your back, and there is nothing that can enter you, enter like your energy field or enter your reality for the long term, and you set strong intentions, then you will have amazing experiences spiritually, and you will reopen yourself up to connect with your higher truth, the higher truth that you are a spiritual being having a human experience. And when you connect to the spiritual realm, you're connecting to the intangible, which is where amazing tangible things are born from. Every idea is intangible, but every idea has led to something tangible in this reality. Every invention started as an idea, which is intangible, and has then become a tangible thing in this physical reality. So when we block ourselves off from the intangible and just focus on the physical, tangible, doing all the time, then we are blocking ourselves off from so much magic and so much ease, grace, and flow in our lives and in our businesses, and so much abundance, because money blocks are very deeply tied into spiritual development, which is amazing to see in clients all the time, how, you know, developing their psychic abilities opens them up to so much more money and grace and flow and love in their lives. It is so multifaceted, and it's really my message to share with you that it is of utmost importance that you reconnect these abilities within you, because they are part of who you truly are. They are a part of who you truly are, and unfortunately they've just been shat upon for centuries, and it's time that we reclaim them and step into our spiritual power as human beings here on earth. So I would love to hear from you if you have any similar experiences ghost hunting or doing ghost tours, or even just going to people's houses or staying in hotels, you know, anything like that, because I would love to hear your experiences and offer you any sort of support in the comments, maybe some clarity as well, and just really help you to feel solidified in your gifts and your truth as a human being, a spiritual being having a human being experience. You are more than this. You are way more, and it's time that you opened yourself up to the fullness that reality has to offer, rather than limiting ourselves to not seeing the full picture like most of us do. When you open yourself to see the full picture, your business just booms, and your life booms, and your heart expands to change the whole planet. So much love. I can't wait to hear from you in the comments. If you have any questions as well, feel free to ask me. And if you would like to know more, or develop your psychic abilities for your business and transcend your business from the intangible to create incredible tangible things here in this physical reality, and really step up to be a true divine feminine leader, leading the world into higher consciousness, then you can book in for a free consult with me. I do have limited spots, but I'll pop the link in the description and in the comments. It is only for people who are ready to do the inner work and to put themselves to the test and to challenge themselves and to expand themselves, so that they can rise into great leadership, abundance, and magic for themselves. So if that is you, apply, and I look forward to getting to know you. So much love and light. Have a beautiful, beautiful week. I will be on every day this week, so make sure to catch me tomorrow around the same time. So much love and light. Bye.